George R.R. Martin is doing anything he can to not finish A Song of Ice and Fire, and now he's come out in an interview slamming Hollywood's habits of disrespecting source materials. Now, he for years had praised Dumb and Dumber, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, and their kind of iteration of Game of Thrones, because George did help a lot the first few seasons, and he said that they did fantastic. He loved the show and what they did, and even with some of the changes that they ultimately decided to make. But now it seems that he's kind of going against Hollywood, saying most of the people in it have a habit of disrespecting source materials. It says, in taking time away from not writing The Winds of Winter to offer his thoughts on the current entertainment landscape, Martin has once again voiced his frustration with Hollywood's habits of running roughshod over any original work they choose to adapt for the small or big screens. Now, this is something that most of us have been saying, that Hollywood doesn't respect source material, they don't care. And while we have had some pretty good adaptations of things, the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, for example, unfortunately, there's not a lot of them. Most of the products that are being adapted end up being shoddy adaptations. It says, recalling his previous criticism of Hollywood's disrespectful attitude in a post made to his personal blog, he lamented very little has changed since then. If anything, things have gotten worse. Everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to take great stories and make them their own. It doesn't matter whether the source material was written by Stan Lee, Fleming, Dahl, Tolkien, Austen, or well, anyone. No matter how major a writer is, no matter how great the book, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks he can do better, eager to take the story and improve on it, which is something we have been saying for years at this point. I mean, of course, it's great to see somebody the size of George R. R. Martin, not physically, say something like this and be able to voice his opinion, but at the same time, he has been very wishy-washy. He used to praise Game of Thrones, and then he alluded to not enjoying the ending, but he won't come out and say that the ending was really bad and not his direction. He simply said, oh, there are some things that he will be changing going forward and that he wouldn't really be bringing to his books, but at the same time, he's never come out and fully said, I hated the ending, probably because he's got so many other shows in the works with HBO. And of course, you know, this is something we've been saying for years. The absolute disrespect going on in Hollywood is insane. Just look at something like The Rings of Power, for example, complete Tolkien fan fiction. They didn't try to faithfully adapt his work or his characters at all whatsoever, and it's really, really pathetic. So it is interesting, of course, to see someone like George come out and say this and kind of parrot the very things that we as viewers have been saying for a long time now, but it really just seems like he's doing everything in his power to not finish The Winds of Winter. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.